Hello, my friends. It's Jen Pitta with By the Shore Stamping. Welcome into day 6 of our new color week. We are featuring some of the brand new colors in the Stampin' Up 2018-19 annual catalog that had a color revamp. So today we're actually going to talk Christmas. I know, right? Christmas in June. But there's some new colors in the new catalog that I think are going to make some great Christmas cards this year. So it's never too early to start thinking about your Christmas cards, right? Or holiday cards. You can get a head start, unlike what I normally do at a frantic pace at the very last second. So we're going to use the stamp set Half Full, which is a carryover. It was in, I believe, the Christmas catalog last year, and it is now in the regular catalog. It's a really cute set. You can obviously use it for all year long, so it makes a really great stamp set to have in your arsenal, but it's got some great Christmas, and I love this Christmas greeting. The Merry Christmas is really great font. It's really pretty. And then it's got this really funny one that I love. It says, "I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, but if the white runs out, I'll drink red." Haha, I love it. So that's a really fun set. So this is what we're going to use today. And our color combo for this card is going to be the new Merry Merlot, the new Shaded Spruce, both brand new colors. I'm adding in a touch of soft sea foam. I told you this is quickly becoming a quick staple for me. I just love, it's very subtle, but it gives some really great character to a card. And then, of course, we have to throw in a little bit of crumb cake. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm actually doing a top fold card today. So my cardstock, it's very vanilla, and it measures 11 by 4 1/4. And I'm going to fold that in half to make a base. It doesn't look like I cut it very well because it looks like it's slightly off, but it's all right. I can fix it after. So there we have our base, and it's just going to be a top fold instead of the usual side folds. And then I'm taking a basic card mat again, so this is 4 by 5 1/4, and I'm going to use some tone-on-tone stamping. So I'm taking the Merry Merlot stamp pad or ink pad with the Merry Merlot cardstock, and I'm going to use this little glasses image. It's just a series of glasses all the way across, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink that in the Merry Merlot, and then I'm going to stamp it right along the bottom here of my cardstock. And I'm just going to stamp another one right there. So it just kind of goes all the way across the bottom of my cardstock. I'll leave that open for a second. And then I'm going to tape this down to the front of my card because that's all I'm going to do to it. All right. And while I have this ink pad open, I'm going to go ahead and stamp this larger wine glass image. Come on, baby. I'm going to stamp this on the Merry Merlot cardstock as well. So I'm just going to go ahead, ink that up, and stamp it here. We're going to use that in a second, so I'll just put that aside, and now I can, oh, actually, and you know what else we need to do? We need to grab a piece of scrap Very Vanilla as well, and we're going to grab the large wine bottle here, and I'm going to stamp that on here as well, because I'll use that in a second since I have that out. So that's all we're going to need the Merry Merlot for. So I'm going to go ahead and close that up. And I'm going to grab the Shaded Spruce. This is a really bright green, but it's also got some kind of, I don't know, it's not as bright and bold as the Call Me Clover, which we used earlier in the week. So it's got a little bit of a lighter tone to it, but it's a really nice, bold color for Christmas cards. So I'm going to take the Merry Christmas stamp, and I'm going to actually use this as a background. So one of my little tricks for getting some texture or some just interest to my card when I don't have an embossing folder or I don't have a big background stamp or something else, I use an image, or a greeting or sentiment from the same stamp set repeatedly over the cardstock to give it some texture and dimension. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp this Merry Christmas all over this cardstock. And I tend to do this kind of in a diagonal pattern first, and then I'll fill in So you can see I did that all the way down like that. And now I'm just going to go back and I'm going to add in the extra pieces here. Like that. And then we need a little bit up here. Just kind of helps you know where to put it. And then I'm just going to do a little bit down here because it's kind of blah. Perfect. All right, so then we have kind of a background piece. Then I'm going to quickly take I have an inked up wet wipe here, the Ink Away wipes. I'm going to clean this off because, of course, there's going to be a little crumb cake on here, right? I'm going to share you that in a second, but let me just clean that off so it doesn't have any more green on it. I'll close this up. We're going to open up our crumb cake ink pad, and I'm going to do a little greeting in crumb cake on this little piece here. So we're going to use the same Merry Christmas. And while I have this open, I've already embossed this piece of cardstock. It is 3 by 3 1/4, and I use the basket weave embossing folder, the dynamic one. Super fun. And we're just going to do a little inking of this with the crumb cake. I did do a video not too long ago about inking your folder, and I actually used this folder, and it was the Blossoming Basket card, and I actually inked the embossing folder with the crumb cake ink before I ran it through the Big Shot, and so then it gets all of the ink inside this basket weave, and it makes it look kind of like a tonal weave of color, which is really fun. But this time I'm just going to do the edges in the crumb cake, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of put this right in the middle of my card. And as always, when I have something that's embossed like this, I'm actually going to add a little bit extra tape because it will just make it adhere a little bit better because it's embossed. It sometimes the tape doesn't touch all parts of the cardstock because it might be up on a raised piece of that, and then it doesn't stay put as well. And I just put that on crooked, so let me fix that. All right, so you want to make sure it's kind of fully adhered down. All right, so there's that. And then I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to layer it across the middle. So again, I'm just going to take some adhesive and we'll put that right across the middle. And I'm going to make sure these edges are really stuck because, again, the texture sometimes makes the adhesive come off a little bit. So there's that. And then just because I wanted to kind of add a little bit more color here, I added just a thin strip of the soft seafoam. It's a 1/2 inch by 4. This was 4 by 2 for the green, the shaded spruce piece. I'm just going to tape that down flat right across the bottom here. Just kind of breaks up that pattern a little bit. And we'll add something for me to ground the rest of my elements to. So now we're going to have our little Merry Christmas. It's going to go right here, but I'm going to do a little banner end on here. So I'm going to just do a snip in the middle, a snip to the side, and then we'll do one here and here. And then I'm going to tape that down kind of towards the side, leaving about 1/8 of an inch on the bottom there before, so I don't cover up all of that shaded spruce. Okay, so there's that. Now I'm going to take this little wine bottle and I'm going to hand cut that with I'm going to fussy cut it with my paper snips. These are the best scissors for doing this really fussy cutting work, but just because I didn't want to take the time to do it on camera, I already pre-cut that. So now I'm going to take that piece and I'm going to, whoops, just add a little bit of adhesive. And I'm going to kind of cover up this little edge with the wine glass piece. So we'll just cover that edge like that. Make sure it's straight. Although I guess this card, it doesn't really matter if it's straight because you could just say, well, I was drinking. All right, so there's that. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to, oh, you like my green thumb? I'm That's a green thumb. I don't really have a green thumb at all, but only in the craft room. This one I'm going to hand cut as well, again, with my I'm going to fussy cut with my paper snips. And then you get that. And then I'm going to take one of my blender pens. I like to call this kind of a blank marker because it's blank. It doesn't color anything until you pick up color from a source. So today we're going to use the ink pad. We're using the soft seafoam. And I'm going to just kind of squeeze the cover together. And then when you open it, you get a little bit of a pool of ink on the cover of your ink pad. And I'm just going to pick up some of that color. And I'm just going to cover the top of this soft seafoam green. Kind of like the wrapping that you'd find on the wine bottle. So I'm going to make this wine bottle wrapping soft seafoam. And you can do as light or as much color as you want. That one I wanted to be a little bit darker. This, I'm going to color in the bottom here a little bit too, but just really, really lightly. So I'm just going to kind of do a quick wash over this and kind of spread that color around. I don't really want it to be super dark. You want to try not to color directly over the red because that is a classic ink, so it's water-based. So when we run over this with this water-soluble solution, it will bleed a little bit, but not enough for anybody to see. All right, so I'm going to clean off my blender pen so that it will be ready for the next time I use it. Just kind of spin it and make sure there's no color on there. Put that away, and then I can put this away. And then I'm going to plop this down right here, kind of overlapping the wine glass. A little bit lower. I'll just plop that down. This wine glass really is crooked. But, oh well. I'll just do that. And then I wanted to add a little bit of texture to this card. So I'm going to take a little bit of my twine. I'm going to tie a bow in the air, as I like to say. So I'm just going to take this, do a little loopy, wrap it around, and pull that through. So I have a little bow. And then I'm going to just sort of reduce it down a little bit. I just want a little tiny one. I probably took way too much twine for this because I really don't need all of that. And then I'm going to trim this off and trim this off. And I'm going to stick it down right there with a glue dot. Grab my glue dot. And usually, because you can see the glue dot is quite a bit bigger than that knot, so when I pull it off, I just kind of fold it under so that the glue dot isn't exposed, because then it will kind of get stuck in the envelope. So I'm just folding that over, and then I'm going to plop it down right here. And then I have cute little texture for that. And then one last little highlight for this, and again, this probably won't show so well on the video, but I still love to do it. We're going to take our clear Wink of Stella, and I'm just going to paint some sparkle and shine into the wine glass. You could maybe do a little down here too. I didn't do that on the original, but why not? Okay, and then we have our finished card for today. What do you think? Christmas in June, right? All right, so as I've been reminding you all week, if you do decide you want to order anything this week with me, you'll go to jenpitta.stampinup.net and then enter this code, the U7NB3XGU, and you will get a free embellishment from me if you order by June 15th. And as a reminder, if by chance you have a really long wish list and your order is over $150, don't use this code. I'll still send you the free embellishment, but you'll qualify for your own rewards, and I want to make sure you get those. So that is it for day, what are we on? 6. Day 6 of our new color week. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back again tomorrow with another project sharing some new ink colors or new colors from the new catalog. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day.